How you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live Big Ten Tournament Edition. Indiana, typical Indiana in the Big Ten Tournament fashion, 74-61 losers to Northwestern. They were swept by Northwestern this year. And honestly, you're looking at a situation where this brings to an end IU's dreams of making the NCAA tournament. It's not an NCAA tournament team. You have to stick 68 in there, but this isn't an Indiana team at 18-14 with 2 losses to Northwestern that deserves a spot in the NCAA tournament. I didn't feel that they needed it even with the win. If they knocked off Purdue, then maybe, but this is just not an NCAA tournament team, and it's awful the way Indiana turtled in the second half, the way everything kind of fell apart. You have your season on the line, and you allow Northwestern to shoot 58 or 55% in the first half alone, and you give up, you're outscored 38-24 after halftime. Just brutal. Just absolutely brutal. You want better? Northwestern didn't make a field goal in the last 6 minutes of the game. This was just an absolute turtle job by this team. 812-393-2600 is the number. We'll be on for as long as you guys want to talk, and we have our first caller. So, caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, what's up, KB? It's Larry from Fort Wayne. How are you?
Larry, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I don't have a poem for you because it's just that type of night, man. This was infuriating. Pathetic.
Yep, you keep going. That's you're not running out of adjectives.
If this were a spelling bee, I would take Northwestern to win 7 times in a row.
Sure,
but it's not a spelling bee. This is, I'm afraid, the death of Indiana basketball. Like, I don't see us better next year. We don't. Stifley's gone. They paid $10 million. Apparently, for these guys.
Yeah.
I think Wilkerson, phenomenal, man. He earned his money.
For sure.
He gave some back to Sam Houston State. He bought his mom. Like, he seems, from an airplane's view away, like a good guy. The rest of them, man, it's like when they got that money, they were content. And, just the little things. Not stopping ball in transition, not boxed out. They just got outworked.
Yep.
It looked like they had given up after the first 10 minutes. They were content, and it's infuriating. And I want to give DeVries an ample amount of time, but how much time, I guess, do you think realistically he has?
Well, I'll start here in that, when you're talking about using NIL resources and being able to bring guys in and the kind of money that's involved here, people donate to these things because they want to see results. And it's great for the players. And it's also a situation where you now have to produce results. And there is absolutely no question that what has gone on over at the football stadium ratchets up the pressure on the basketball program as well, because we've seen exactly what can be done in a very short amount of time. So in terms of time, this offseason is everything, because you're going to have a whole bunch of people ready to turn on things if you don't have success next year. And it doesn't have to be a trip to the Sweet 16, but for God's sakes, you can't get your ass kicked by Northwestern in the Big Ten tournament and lose 14 games. I mean, you just can't.
How many of those home games were sellouts? Because sometimes it's hard to see on television.
Well, there are different things. All of them, most of them count as sellouts because they count.
Well, I'm talking about a full crowd.
Well, asses in seats is a different thing. And from that, most of the games this year, the balconies were pretty empty, especially on the east side of Assembly Hall. I know that those weren't packed a bunch. They were at times, but yeah, you could see kind of the apathy of the fans setting in as the season went on. For sure, that was absolutely an issue that went. I've seen it again with this show as well, and it's not as if I'm sitting here saying why aren't that people have to be calling into my show. But last year you had a lot more anger, you had a lot more upset, and we got plenty of calls. There was plenty of interaction, and it was great. This year, I think people are just fed up and they're just done. And apathy is so much worse for a program than anger. And that's why I'm interested to see who picks up a phone and calls here on a Wednesday night tonight, because a lot of people were just like, just turn it off and all right, let's move on. Let's get on with the rest of my year.
Well, I know my brother switched and started watching funny home videos with his kids. My son left. He went to go watch something else.
Yep.
Would you say that this team digressed, in your opinion?
Regressed? As the season went on, got worse?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think that there's a question of that. I think that, the team that we saw and the way that they played together, the crispness that they ran things in the early part of the season, I time and time again said on this show, said on Twitter, that it was so refreshing to see a team move without the ball as well as they did, and cut and make passes and set good screens and everything that went along with just good quality basketball. And this is when this Indiana team was putting up a lot of points. And it's not a thing of just the talent. Effort, it is what I was watching there. And you saw it. As the season progressed, I think this team got more and more disconnected on both ends of the floor. That the offense kind of bogged down. The lack of size and quickness and athleticism started to take its toll. Physical play in the Big Ten took its toll on guys that have made their college careers at a mid-major level. And yeah, I absolutely believe that the basketball that was being played in March was demonstrably worse than what we saw in November and December.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess the real reason I'm calling is I wanted to thank you for your work throughout the year. And I'm assuming you're back next year, correct?
Of course. Okay. And we're going to keep this up during the off season as well. I'm hoping to put together at least a once a week call in so we could talk about recruiting and transfer portal and all the fun, spring football and all the fun stuff that's there. We could have some fun in the summer.
All right. That's what my next question was going to be. Are you going to have some off season? We post that on X?
Absolutely. I'll post that on X. I have it on the Peegs podcast. I'll have a dedicated day. It'll probably be, Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. And got lots to put out over the summer because there's no real off season, and it'll be fun to talk. There's going to be a little bit of a break probably next week. If Indiana lands in the NIT, I'm not doing a call-in show for the NIT. I'm not doing it. And so that's something that for any of these postseason tournaments, I'm not doing it. But
you're not doing the Crown.
Wherever they land, I'm not going to be doing a call-in show for it. So,
all right, buddy. All right. Well, hey, thanks again, man. You are the best, and a lot of people out there appreciate you and your time and your knowledge, your dedication. So keep up the good work, man, and we'll talk to you in the off season.
I deeply appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Later.
812-393-2600 is the number. We have another caller on the line. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, it's Kevin again. How you doing?
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Good. I agree with the guy, his last few comments, just talking about the show that you do and how you do it. And I like your honesty.
I appreciate that.
Some places your honesty would probably get you fired, but I like your honesty because I think that what I watched tonight and the last time they played Northwestern, and I said this, we were rolling. Lamar Wilkerson was hot as piss grease. Darren took him out. About the 11-minute mark, same time as tonight, and sat him for 6-7 minutes, and Lamar never got his touch back the rest of the night. And I told you that night that was just a horrible coaching move. your young kids. They can go. I mean, Martinelli doesn't come off the floor hardly at all.
Right.
Other teams. Why are we taking our best players off the damn floor? Because we have to do what? Well, we got to give them a rest. We got to get some guys on the. No, you don't have to get guys on the floor if they haven't played. If I'm going to get a guy on the floor, honestly, and there's just a lot of stuff out there. Sicily's gone. He's not going to be back next year. That's not.
Why would he be?
Verbatim, okay?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't want to come back and play for DeVries at all. And here's the scary part. He can do damage to us in the state of Indiana because he was a valued commodity. He'll end up going to Purdue, is my guess. But he could hurt us. He could hurt us in recruiting because he's not going to say good things. But beside that, tonight, we were playing well offense. We weren't playing good defense. We didn't play good defense all night long.
No.
that's
season.
Just pardon me?
All season, they weren't good defensively.
Well, yeah. But again, and the announcers said it tonight. 11 o'clock, about the 11-minute thing, we stopped, and Jordan said it had to do it, kind of hinted at substitutions and a couple key players sitting down.
Right.
He did it again. He doesn't take Connor Enright out, but he takes Lamar Wilkinson out. That to me, that raises some serious questions about his ability to manage player personnel. And I'm not talking about recruiting. I'm talking about player personnel during games. There's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. When you're scoring, we were scoring at a good pace in the first half. When he took him out, we got sluggish. And then we had the 10-point lead again, right? And then what happened, it all turned around
right
as the rest of the first half went, and we never got it back. That's on Darren DeVries. That is flat on him. Period.
Well,
There's
yeah.
no...
And I don't know. I don't know about it. He may have, and Wilkerson may have asked out as well. And you do want to, keep guys fresh for the second half. But he's also been willing to play Wilkerson major minutes in the past, as many as 39 minutes. So I absolutely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and so to me, and I think, you could see that team. The last 6 minutes of the game, even the announcers talked about there's no urgency out there. There's no, they got to get after it. The guys on TV were criticizing the players.
Sure.
Now, at that point in time as a head coach, we're not going to win the game. I think you probably saw the same thing I saw. From the 6 minute, we were done at the 6 minute mark. We were done.
Right.
As soon as they got the double-digit lead, you could see we were done. Look at their faces. Look at Lamar Wilkinson's face. He's like, and then he brings in Connor, taking Connor away, but he was just going to do things for himself. You could see it. He was going. Okay?
Right.
And you look at how many layups we missed in the second half. The layups alone were 10 to 12 points, and we're not talking about tough layups.
They were 7 of 14. 7 of 14 on layups.
There we go. Right. So we've gone back to the Mike Woodson days, basically, right? Can't make a layup. But my thinking at that point in time, and I'm sitting there going, get them off the floor and let all the other kids play. Let the walk-ons play. Let Trent Sicily play, because we're not going to win it.
You could see the body language early in the second half that Indiana was defeated. Yeah. And I think that we've seen that all season long, to where this team, it'll fight, it'll battle along the way, but I do think that it just can't be overstated. The whole thing of this team, so many key parts of this team, came from lower levels of a lower level of play than the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. And, that is, almost to a man. Sam Alexis is a guy that, played for Florida. Tucker DeVries played 8 games for West Virginia, but he previously was at Drake, and Drake is not the Big Ten. It just isn't. And so, there's no replicating that. And as the season went on, I feel the physical toll of playing at that level got to this team as well.
Well, I think when we said this last time we talked, and I kind of said the same. You said you reemphasized. I agree with you 100%. But I think that one of the most damning statements to Indiana basketball tonight was what Jordan Taylor said about Northwestern. Martinelli's got a will to win. He's got fight. He's a reflection, or that team reflects off of him, and that team also reflects off their head coach.
Right.
And in a subtle way, that's saying that Indiana reflects off their head coach, and you're seeing two different things there. Two different things. I don't see Darren DeVries as a fighter, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm not saying it with officials. I'm just talking in general. I don't see him as a fighter. You see Chris Collins, boy, he gets in his kid's face, Bobby Knight style. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Knight used to be that way. He got after kids and didn't hesitate and wasn't afraid to. I have not seen Darren DeVries. Now, I understand he's got a late roster, but you know what? You got this team, right, wrong, or indifferent, late or not, they're your team, and you have an opportunity tonight. You got to win this game. I really felt if they'd have won this game and had a good game against Purdue, they're going to make the tournament. But instead, when things aren't going right and it's stupid, I mean, we're talking about Sam Alexis throws a pass and hits Tucker DeVries in the back of the head with it. Peyton Conaway goes up twice. I mean, with the dumbest. I'm going, what are you doing?
One thing I want to mention about Nick Martinelli and like his sense of urgency. To me, there's a little bit of a different part of that as well. And that Martinelli's been at Northwestern for 4 years. Him and Collins, they've been together for 4 years. They are connected. And they know what each other want. And so you have that sense of urgency when you're playing for a team that you've been with for a long time. Indiana had none of that because none of these players had played for Indiana before this season. They had played for several other teams, some of these guys. So you don't have that connection. You don't have that connection to the coach. And that definitely is a thing that shows up in a postseason situation.
Well, I agree with that statement too. But what I think is, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think that Darren DeVries got more than enough times this year during timeouts to just unload on them. And you're going to find out in that situation if somebody's got a set of kahunas that get pissed off, says, Coach, I'm going to show you what I can do, and go get it done.
Yeah,
you're going to see that.
That's a coaching style. And so, I mean, I will go ahead and I like that style myself. Being a guy who grew up watching Bob Knight, grew up, as a Bears fan watching Mike Ditka and all of that. That's my style, baby. Listen to what they say, not how they say it. Let the coaches be firing. But that's not everybody's style, and that's okay.
No.
But to me though, it is you did have this team really just kind of, I feel, let down over time. Kevin, I'll let you have, one last thing because we got another caller to get to, but just, your final thoughts on this thing.
Disappointing. It's the only way you can describe it. Disappointing. Everybody can say they're ashamed or embarrassed. Well, okay. Disappointing. And this is a low for Indiana basketball. He's going to have to work his ass off and he's got to produce next year. He will not be back because people won't put up with it.
I understand.
But that's, okay, hey, have a great summer. We'll, I'll see you down there in the fall.
Yep.
Football game here or there. All right.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
812-393-2600 is the number. Got our next caller who's been waiting very patiently. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken. Michael here, Southwest Florida. Just calling, I think what the last caller said there at the end is I would agree with it. There's pressure on DeVries next year. This year has been so bad. I honestly, I'm kind of to a fault optimist when it comes to Indiana basketball, almost to a stupid level optimist. Besides the fact we've only been good basically 2 years my entire life. But objectively, if I take my crimson colored glasses off, there are major red flags here. Now, obviously the transfer portal is such a new thing relative to college sports that things could change quickly, but there are major red flags. You have to really question DeVries' ability to recruit at this level. Objectively, his career record is fantastic. There's no questioning that, but it's not at this level.
Yeah.
He's not entirely charismatic. I don't see him. I see him having a hard time out recruiting Bill Self or a a Calipari or really anybody from a personality level. Granted, maybe with money involved, that doesn't even matter anymore. But there are major issues, major red flags. They need to, they need to just get rid of everybody. The only person I would bring back is Sicily. Everybody else needs to go.
Well, hell,
Start completely
everybody else
over.
has to go because they're out of eligibility. I mean, you have Dorn
Well-
and Sicily, and that's it. And if you're Sicily, what makes you, confident about your future when in a game in the Big Ten tournament, when you're getting thrashed, you still don't see the floor? I mean, it
that one doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
That one doesn't make sense to me. If you're fighting for a spot in the tournament and Sicily's your 8th, 9th guy, I get not playing. But when really the season's over, why are you not playing one guy that's going to return? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. In terms of charisma and all of that, will be, you have to kind of, I agree. Outwardly, it seems like some of that is lacking, but we also don't know what people are like behind closed doors. And so that could make a difference. He's obviously been able to get enough talent to win at every stop that he has been at. And in some of these games this year, they were able to win games where, they knocked off Purdue. They were able to continue to fight against teams like UCLA and pick up some wins along the way. But I understand exactly what you're saying, because outwardly it doesn't seem at quite the same level. Now, money can bring a lot of personality and to the thing, but this is also a program, and I cannot stress this enough. I posted about this on Peegs.com today, that this is a program that I consider to be 18 years old, because the second that the Kelvin Sampson thing happened, and it was we had to start from scratch back then. The building was the same, the fans were the same, the uniform was the same, but the program was completely different. It was a startup program, and that's not letting anything off the hook now. What I'm saying is that in those 18 years, Indiana has been to the NCAA tournament 6 times. So that reputation of IU is kind of built on a past that is now old enough to be just graduating high school. And so the sale job that you have to do on Indiana is that we have been peer teams with Northwestern and Minnesota and Nebraska and those teams, and not the top. So you do have to build a vision for the future, and you could take elements of this year and plug in better players than what they had, better talent than what they had this year, but still, you have to be able to bring it on the day of the game, and we haven't seen that, at least over the past month.
Well, and the thing we're talking about, being able to sell the program, it's not just sell the recruits. He's got to sell the people that are giving the money.
For sure.
If he doesn't sell the boosters, it doesn't matter. The recruits don't matter. He's not even in those ball games. And with the success of football, and if I'm a booster, let's say you've got $1 million to give, pretty hard to say you're not going to give $1 million to football versus basketball, and so that's going to be a tricky challenge. I think the one thing, I think the Hysterics talked about this on the podcast, so I think they're 100% right when they had Brian Evans on. One of the things that really hurt this team was I think they completely overestimated Tucker DeVries's ability.
I agree.
This year, that really hurt. I mean, from what I understand and I've just read, obviously I have no insider info, but it seems like he was paid like a top player in the Big Ten. And if we're being honest, completely objectively, if you watch the games this year, he was a mediocre Big Ten player at best. And when you spend top dollar for a mediocre Big Ten player, of course we're not very good. We basically only had one good player. I think overestimating Tucker killed him. Obviously, Reed Bailey, Sam Alexis was okay, but we really had one solid Big Ten player. I don't know. The only thing I'll add.
One thing I'll say to that is, a mediocre player who's also a 2,000-point scorer in his career. And so, you do
But
have,
not in the Big Ten.
Not in the Big Ten. I agree with that completely. But that is one thing that, it is, that's part of the equation. Is he has put up numbers, but yeah, there's no question that this year, let's see, for the season, from 3-point range, he was 82 of 246, which is 33.3%. And
and I'm not saying it's not fair.
Oh, yeah.
I think what he got paid was completely fair. Based on his statistics and his history, it was completely fair for him to be a top. I was excited. He's got the skills. You watch him. It's just athletically he can't compete at this level. So I completely understand why they would do it.
Right.
It just did not shake out. And that's just part of it. The only other thing I'll add, Ken, that I think maybe the first caller questioned, and if you look at the message boards, you see this all the time about, like, is this the death of Indiana basketball? Listen, Indiana basketball isn't even remotely close to where Indiana football was, and we just won a national championship.
Right.
So all it takes is one team to turn this thing around, and Assembly Hall will be packed again.
Well, and that's the thing is, even as this team just was mediocre as hell all season, fans are showing up. And they're there, and they're screaming, and their energy, and they're bringing it, and they want their support to be rewarded. So the fans have apathy, but the thing is, at the start of the next year, everyone's going to be excited for the guys that they don't know, and the slate gets wiped clean. This is a fan base that has endured a lot over the last 18 years. This will be now I think it'll be, Indiana's been to the tournament 3 times in 10 years. Hey, you know what? People still
you think
show
it's 2?
up. No,
I think it's 2.
It's 3 because Crean went.
Oh, maybe that. Okay. All right. Well, either one stinks.
Yeah, because going back to the 2015, it's going back to the 2015 season, 16 season is what I've looked at. So I guess if it'd be over the last 10 seasons, 11 seasons, it's 3 and 11. I mean that hurts the percentage that much more now.
Think about how crazy that is.
Yeah,
you have, football has been, let's say, 2 out of the last 10 years. There's 12 teams. Okay, basketball has been 3 out of 10. All-time historic top 10 program, 3 out of 10 years, and there's 68 teams picked. I mean, that's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Let's see. I'm pulling up what I put on the Peegs message board earlier today. This was before this game, so the number is just a little bit off. This current program that I consider the current program from 2008-09 when Crean took over, has seen 4 head coaches in 18 seasons, is 333 and a 259 overall. That's a 56.3% winning percentage. But in the Big Ten, it's 154 and 185. So it is 31 games under 500 in conference. And they've been to the NCAA tournament now 6 times in 17 seasons. From 2001-02 to 2007-08, that's the Davis and Sampson years, they went 6 times in 8 years. There's been a severe drop-off here, but the fans certainly show up and they donate and they make Indiana a special place. Now it's a matter of being able to have the success.
Yep, and I'll be here watching. Pay attention to the transfer portal. DeVries has got his work cut out for him. But I'll be hoping they can turn it around. Hopefully the new GM will help put together a roster for next year. Can't get any worse. I mean, I think the one thing we do have to remember, it has not been at this level, but DeVries' career record is very good.
Yes.
He is a good coach. You don't look into a record that good. The question is, can he put a squad together that he can coach? Hopefully we can. I'll just end with this, Ken. I got my national champion football hat came in today. I've been waiting for that for, I don't know, a month, it seems like.
Very nice.
So as bad as the basketball game is, wearing a hat that says national champions on it never gets old.
Nope, that still happened. It's wonderful. Thanks so much for the call. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ken.
Take care. 812-393-2600 is the number. We got another caller. Caller, if I have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken. This is Tim from Fort Wayne.
Hi, Tim. How are you doing?
Not too bad. I was just wondering, I was just jumping on late here. Have they given any indication of why they switched up the starting lineup today?
So I went on the air. I did not see what is going on here on the press conference. I haven't seen.
Okay.
So I am checking on that, but it's just something that I wanted to. I don't know because I've been on the air. So.
Okay. I was just curious because at first I thought it was an actual pretty good game plan having Bailey in there. I thought maybe it would help out rebound them or help with the rebounding situation and stuff. But I don't want to bag on DeVries. I think he's fine. It's okay. We'll let that handle itself later.
Yeah.
But just as this specific game, I just could not understand what their game plan was. I mean, Reed Bailey plays 27 minutes, and he had 8 free throw attempts, so he got to the line, but only registered 1 shot, 1 rebound, and no assists, and plays 27 minutes. Like, a guy like, if he's going to play the 4, you can't tell me Trent Sisley couldn't have done that.
Well, and what I don't know is why it took to this point in the season to try that. That's what I don't understand.
Sure.
That's what's weird to me.
Yeah. And then you got, Peyton Connerway plays 19 minutes, has 14 points and 5 rebounds, and only plays 19 minutes. I don't know. Nick Dorn was 2 for 2 from 3 and only played 20 minutes. I just could not understand what their game plan was.
Yeah.
All game. Like, it just didn't seem like it made any sense to have. I hate bagging on Reed Bailey, but I mean he's 6'10" and had 1 rebound. It didn't make any sense to why he was out there. I mean, Alexis only had 1 rebound. We had 2 total rebounds from our 2 big guys, and it's not like they were on. If they were on the bench for a defensive reason. I don't know why, because nobody really played defense today.
No, they sure didn't. No.
I just could not understand what the game plan was, and if you went with a senior leading lineup, it clearly wasn't working in the second half, and it just felt like we just weren't trying anything else. We just kept trying to ram a square peg into a round hole. It just didn't make sense to me. Yeah,
and that's what is one of those things where it's just you wonder why some of these things it's taken so long for DeVries to make some of those changes that maybe needed to be made, and it wasn't happening. And I don't know why you go ahead and you change the lineup then here in this this part of the season. I mean, you're in the postseason now, and maybe you want to deal with matchups for Northwestern and what worked last time, what may have worked better, but still, it was an odd situation to say the least.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, that's all I got for you, Ken.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep. Have a good night.
812-393-2600 is the number. Guy on Twitter says, please turn all your levels way up every time. If you play other YouTube videos compared to yours on speakers, car, or your TV, you'll notice that the volume level is way too low to the point. Let me know if that's an actual thing that everybody's dealing with, because as the caller's going, I'm trying to tinker with that a little bit and see what it is that I can do to help that, because I see that there's an input volume that it's kind of messing with things. So we continue to work at this. 812-393-2600 is the number. Ton of stuff on the chat I want to get to, but we also have 3 callers in the hopper, so I want to get through our calls too. So got another one. Caller, what's your name and what you got?
Hey, Ken, it's Troy from Elkhart.
Hi. How you doing?
On the live chat. I'm not bad. For the season, I think someone else said something about it, but I'd say I was, embarrassed for the season, disappointed for the season, but I'm not ashamed of the team or the season. I mean, I see a lot of people in the chat saying, "Hey, fire DeVries." I mean, it's one freaking year. I'm sorry, but. And how much time did he have? And I've seen this in one of the other one of the other post game shows I'm watching at the same time as this one. But how much time did DeVries have for the portal when he got hired in? I mean,
Okay.
was it significantly less time than others, or was it average time? I wasn't paying attention to that part.
No. Okay. So part of the thing that has to do, he was hired on March 18th of last year. So that is obviously a time that he should have been able to hit the ground running, but he was a little bit slow in getting his assistant coaches. And to get players to come, they need to know who they're going to be working with. And so it took a little bit of while for Darren DeVries to get his assistant coaches hired. And so therefore, guys took a little bit longer to commit to IU. So I feel like there was a lot of time that was spent dealing with assistant coaches, and maybe not as much time was done to, or he didn't have as much of an opportunity, I guess, to sell his vision of the program while he was trying to put everything together. That obviously is there's different ways that you could look at it, because you want to have assistant coaches that are going to work with you and to be a good fit to set a foundation for the future. But
they've got to reflect the same vision that you have.
Right. And you have to have the right guys to set up long-term success. The thing, of course, is that you have the style that you want to play with. It's a kind of set up the roster, get a bunch of older guys, try to win right away. And so that, I feel, is how he tried to compensate with that. But by that time, the guys that were a little bit younger maybe weren't interested in coming to Indiana or had already committed elsewhere. And so you were left with kind of picking through a pile of mid-major guys that mid-major guys are great. Lamar Wilkerson would have been amazing on last year's team, but it's this year's team.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that is kind of where it is.
And when one of the assistants or one of the people within the basketball department that he hired was the guy from Bloomington South, I believe, and he's doesn't he have ties to like Indy Elite, the AAU?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like I definitely understand where everyone is saying this year. Some people were saying disappointed, embarrassed, ashamed of this year. I'm disappointed. I'm embarrassed. Like I said, I'm not ashamed. And yeah, like how DeVries coached this game and some of the last few games where we should have won at the end of this year to get us 20 wins. I totally agree that he was not coaching the way he should have. And I would hope that if he's looking back at, the game tape, he'd say, him and his staff would say, maybe there's other things we should have done differently. And you would have figured, yes, after watching a few of those losses earlier at the end of the season, getting into this tournament game, a game against Northwestern, yes, we should have won this game. I mean, with the talent we have. But, yeah. I mean, Northwestern, yes, they've got, West is a freshman, but they've got a roster that's played together for quite a while. I mean, like you said, Martinelli's a 4-year player. They've got a lot of other players that have played in that program quite a while. And even though we've got talent on our team, we don't have talent that's played together. And I mean, yes, I'd expect they would have gelled a little bit better than they have so far. But putting Reed in today, and I think, like you said, he should have done that earlier in the year. But to do it at this last game, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm disappointed and I'm embarrassed for the team, and I think the players, I think the coaching staff is. But I mean, we're spoiled with Signetti, and I want to see how he does in year 2 and 3. I mean, yeah, I do not like this year at all, but
Well,
Yeah,
the interesting thing
that's
is
all.
Sig uses the same exact plan of getting a bunch of older guys from lesser, but he squeezes the most he possibly can out of them. And
Yeah,
and so that it's kind of the same strategy. It's just it didn't work this year, and I'm very very interested to see, excuse me, how it changes for next year.
and what is who's our GM? I guess I haven't paid attention to that, but who do we have
He was
helping with the recruiting?
yeah, so he was hired away from the Pacers. And
Okay.
let's see, and I'm drawing a, a blank on his name. It's Ryan. It's where you're asking me stuff.
Does he have collegiate experience?
Ryan Carr.
Okay.
He's the executive.
Does he have collegiate experience or?
He it has been. I believe he does. I believe he
Okay.
does. I'm trying to remember exactly what his background is, because I've been focused on this year, but I know that that Ryan Carr is there, and he came from the Pacers.
Yeah. I mean, I look back at Woody and I say, with Thad Matta, I mean, if Woody would have been open to listening to Thad Matta and probably listening to Dane Fife, who knows where our team would have been, where it would have done, how our roster makeup would have been, in addition to the top tier talent that we had on the roster, but the rest of the team.
Yeah,
and hopefully DeVries gets it with this Ryan Carr guy.
Yeah, and Carr,
like I said,
Carr was assistant coach with UTEP from 1999 to 2003, but he's been working with Larry Bird and Donnie Walsh and all those guys. He was a manager under Knight from 92 to 96. So yeah, there's a moment there. So, hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. We got another caller waiting online. I want to get to him, but I really appreciate the call and your thoughts.
I appreciate everything you do, Ken.
Thanks.
And the rest of the Peegs team. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Take care. 812-393-2600 is the number. We got our next caller. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Eric.
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Ken, I told you this. I am so disgusted in this thing against Northwestern. I am so disgusted.
Yeah.
I mean, it was poor to, it was terrible to watch. They played well in the first half. They probably should have been up by more than 1 point going into halftime. I mean, and then the second half, they came out so flat and let Northwestern just do what they wanted to do. And it was just what I kind of predicted. I kind of thought that if they can get past the first game, maybe they had a chance. And then I said, well, they will probably play Purdue. And I said, well, maybe they probably match up well against Purdue. But this is where this team is at. They're 18-14. And I'm so disgusted. And it doesn't matter what excuses people make about who did what or anything like that. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, there are so many games that they left on the floor that they should have won. And there's not too many games that I felt like that they should have lost. Maybe Wisconsin and Bloomington, but there were a few games where I felt like that they should have won.
Right.
Even on the road, USC, they should have won their game, and they should have beat Minnesota. I mean, and it was just that a lack of inside presence have hurt this team all year long. So
it's a flawed it was a flawed roster from the start. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not I'm not one of them kind of guys that say I'm not sold on Darren DeVries. I'm one of them guys that are optimistic, and I think that he could possibly get it. But the problem is we had so many seniors on this team. And then he got to rebuild his roster again over the summer. We might go through the same thing again next year. You know, I mean, unless he go out of.
I will say I feel like some lessons were learned this season. I'll say that. I think lessons were learned that are going to change the way that approach happens this year, and the fact that he is like solidly, set on his in Assembly Hall. He has a year under his belt here. I think that could change the equation a little bit. Also, the fact that, and I was thinking about this when I was during the second half. Look, this is them losing and, basically ends the NCAA tournament hopes. I don't think that's a terrible thing. I really feel like, okay, now you could really focus on next year and what it is that you got to do. The NIT, the Crown, whatever it is, we'll see how that all plays out. In the postgame, I know DeVries said that they haven't really gotten to take a look at that yet. But to me, next year is so unbelievably critical that, just getting to the tournament and winning a game, who cares? Or you're going to go there, to try to win it. And to me, that this gives them a little bit of a head start on it.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I'm saying is that the last administration, the last coaching staff we had was Mike Woodson, and there's no difference between Archie Miller, Mike Woodson, and this guy.
Right.
The only difference is that only difference is that in the last let me say, you had four with Mike Woodson and one here. 2 of the 7 years, 2 of the 9 years, the team that went to the tournament was Mike Woodson. Everybody else never went. Now, maybe the 19 and 20 team would have probably went to the tournament that year. Maybe the 19 and 20 team with the COVID year, they may have gone. But
right.
there are so many games that I have watched with them, and they do the same crap all the time. It doesn't matter who coaching them. It's like now they got to a point to where they can't beat Northwestern now.
Yeah, they've lost 7 straight.
They got to the point to where they can't beat them in Nebraska. Now, you would pretty much chalk those home and home that IU would probably win the home games for sure. They can't even beat them at home. And I really don't know where they go from because they got too many seniors this year. So who they gonna go out and get?
Well,
who they gonna go out and get? Maybe he need to build it. Maybe he need to build it with high school players.
And now keep in mind too that they've known this is coming all year, right? So they know that this was going to happen. So you also have spent the entire year, and hopefully this is something that was already happening, but Ryan Carr certainly is going to be a big part of this as well, in that you are constantly looking for the next guy that you want as he's playing elsewhere. You're doing the high school recruiting, which is critical because you need guys that are going to be here. And so that's why you have letter intents from Von Carvalho and Prince Alexander Moody, guys that could come in and make something happen. But you've spent the whole season keeping an eye on everybody else's guys. Who do you want to target? That I also think that, maybe it's a situation too where Darren DeVries was doing that at West Virginia and then moving, going after the same guys that he might be interested in, playing at Indiana instead of West Virginia might have been a different part of that equation. So I don't know. There's a lot of variables for sure.
Yeah, but when you sit back and look at it though, you like, I'm not saying that when the availability of players after he got the job, I'm saying is that did he watch Big Ten film and saw that these teams are bigger?
I'm sure he did. And all these coaches, they're successful. They make the money that they do, and they prepare.
But I can't tell because sometimes you just need bigger bodies inside. And it was like he was so focused on going out and get outside shooters to a point to where it's like I don't know. I mean, maybe he could turn it around, but next year I think we'll be here next year this time saying the same thing.
I hope
I'm
not.
just telling you. But he got to replace 7 guys that are going to be gone, and we don't know if Trent Sicily going to go because he dropped off completely in the last half of the season. He dropped off completely, so he may go to a mid-major school like Indiana State. He'd probably go somewhere like that because he probably wants to play. And that team, I'm watching tonight. It was like it was a tale of two halves, man. It was like these guys go in and they want to shoot 25-foot three-point shot. That's all fine and dandy if you are hitting them.
Right.
Or hitting half of them. But they look so bad, and then they can't defend the post. They can't defend the post. And I'm saying is that the only thing I was just saying is that when he got that job, did he watch enough Big Ten film? I don't think he watched enough Big Ten film because he listened to the Kool-Aid. He drank that Kool-Aid.
I'll disagree with you with that. I mean, he definitely was watching other teams and how they play, and he knows that you don't get to be successful at the level that he has been successful without doing your homework. So I'll disagree with you on that.
Well, he was kind of successful at a mid-major school. I mean, he wasn't successful at a Power 4, Power 5 school. So that's the difference. But I'm saying is that at the end of the day, you take 2 shooters off this team this year and put them on the last couple of years for IU, they would have been determined every year.
Yep.
They've been determined every year. So really, technically, Mike Woodson wasn't that far off compared to Archie Miller and this guy right here. He had 1 year to and look, I know that at the end of the day, I know what Mike Woodson was trying to do, but he was stubborn. He had his own way, and he wanted to do it his way. But the problem is that people he thought that could shoot couldn't shoot.
Right, and he did that for 4 years. I mean, you screw that up for 4 years, you're going to pay a price.
But he made a tournament too. The 4 years. Archie Miller didn't make it in 4 years.
No, but he had a All-American that he inherited that helped him make the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, but still, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that for Mike Woodson because I grew up in the same neighborhood he grew up in, and I didn't like the way he ran that program, especially when he fell out with Don Fisher. That bothered me because I'm like, anybody fall out with him, there's got to be a problem. So he was.
And you want to talk about somebody who didn't do his homework? That's Woody. Right. Woody did not do his homework at IU.
Well, I can tell you what. On paper, Darren DeVries didn't do his paperwork. He didn't do his paper. I mean, he didn't do his homework because I'm telling you, he knew. He should have known when he was going out getting these shooters, which was cool. I liked them at the beginning of the year. I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be a pretty fun team to watch. And then when the competition got better, it was the same thing. And I knew that you live and die by the three-point shot. And that's fine and dandy if you're hitting them. If you're hitting them, everything is all good. But just like the 2002 team, they made it to the championship game. They were shooting three. They were hitting. All of a sudden, the championship game, they couldn't hit they couldn't hit anything. And I'm just saying is that I feel as though that I'm not sticking up for Mike Woodson. I'm not sticking up for Archie Miller and even Tom Crean last year there. I'm just saying I've been following this program since 74, 75. Yeah. So my thing is that at the end of the day, I don't get stuck on the Bobby Knight thing. I don't get stuck on that because,
it was 26 years ago. Yeah.
Right. I mean, but it is what it is. But he sucked for 6 years.
Yep.
6, 7 years there. I mean, and there were years that he had great teams with great recruiting classes. People don't even realize that. He had great recruiting classes, and somehow or another, now that year that everything happened to him, they may have may have made a run that year, but the problem was that story came out, and it screwed that team up. But I'm just saying,
I have some insight on that actually. That
right?
team. So there were a lot of the guys that were on that team were obviously on Davis's first team. And they talked about in the locker room of the Big Ten tournament, Davis's first year, that unlike the previous year, when IU lost, they were ready for the season to be done. They had enough of Bob Knight's, just that pressure. They'd had enough. Playing for Davis was different because when they got to the Big Ten tournament, that's when they felt like they still wanted to keep pushing, wanted to keep going. And I think that that's something that can't be overlooked either, especially when you talk about those last several years of the Bob Knight era.
I still remember they lost to Kent State, and that bothered me, even though they came back next year and beat them.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember all that. I mean, but look, Knight, people will say all the great things they want to say about Knight, and I say great things about him too because he was a great coach. But the last 6-7 years at IU, man, it was years they were losing in the first round of tournament to Colorado and teams like that, and they were really good that season, and they would just bow out in the first round of the tournament. Even that year, his last year that he coached there with Pepperdine. Remember he set all them players. Remember he set all those starters. AJ Guyton. He set them all.
Hey, Eric, we have all summer to talk about the late night years because I'd love to go over that again, but I'm not going to get upset here on a Wednesday night about games that lost that happened 27 years ago. I appreciate the passion though, and I feel it, and I'm more than happy to go ahead and talk about it in the summer. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I really appreciate the call, really appreciate everything, and I appreciate your passion as well.
I mean, so as you know that I'm a true IU fan. I'm a true IU fan, and I remember all that crap. Remember all that crap.
Hey, I do too, baby.
Where it is now, but thanks, Ken. And you've done a great job this year. I know you're going to be in Las Vegas, or somebody's going to be in Las Vegas. I know Don Christian going to be there, but because they're going to have to go. They'll have a choice.
Yeah.
They'll have a choice with this right here. So they're going to have to go, and obviously they're going to bring IU to the crowd because of the name. So, I mean, they'll have a choice. They'll have a choice this time. So they're going to be playing in April, the first part of April, and they're going to be at the crowd. Hopefully this could catapult something.
You got to make the most of any opportunities. So.
Yeah. So you have a really good night, and thank you for everything that you do with the college football and all that. And we had a great year. Look, I'm still on the high with IU in that.
Yeah, me too.
In football.
Me too.
So I can get over this by, but before IU football season was over before December.
Yeah.
And, then we had to go through the basketball season. Then they were still in the tournament, and it would bother me for 8 or 9 months. So, but guess what? I feel good that IU football program is going in the right direction. I think DeVries can get it going, but I just think he just probably have to bring in some high school players and some players that don't have a name, because he brought in players that didn't have a name in college basketball.
Right.
And so get some players. I mean, just go out and get these players. Go watch them games now. Go watch them little, those semi-state games, and just start recruiting them.
Yep.
And just get them freaking scholarships, and then maybe get 2 or 3 portal guys and build it from there. But you can't build it from the portal every single year.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Eric. Thank you so much.
All right, kid, man. You have a great rest of the year, and I'll start talking to you again around football season, I guess. But
sounds good.
I mean, yeah. So you have a good one, and you take care. Okay.
Take care. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. 812-393-2600. Got a ton of chats to get through. Let's go ahead and do that now. Hooper Ozzy says the second half was embarrassing, worthy of firing. It was ugly, absolutely. Mr. McFly 420, absolutely disgusting gameplay. Let's drive the ball down the lane and throw it out of bounds multiple times in a row, or drive the lane and get double teamed and then no one rotate over for an empty 3. Some frustration from fans. Same guy says, what happened to the team that would move and cut and play hard? They were young men. They should be able to keep energy. That's really kind of what bothered me as well. It's just how different this team played now versus what they did in the early part of the season. And yeah, again, the talent, the competition was more, but you could just see the energy was very, very different. I think this is a team that got fatigued partially because all the guys, their careers have been played at a lower level where maybe strength and conditioning isn't the same as what it is, and what is necessary to play in the Big Ten. That's kind of part of the equation too. Can't win with, Ryan Kramer says, can't win with mid-major talent. I honestly don't know how we won 9 games in the Big Ten. Part of it was Dorn and Bailey had to stretch a good play. Tucker, same guy, Tucker ended up just being a mid-major talent. I counted on him being a real good player. Hey, he's, these guys are, you don't suck and score 2,000 points in a career. But no, the season was not good for Tucker at all. Seth Kimmel says Quinn Buckner screwed us. We should have gotten Dusty. That doesn't guarantee anything, but I'd like the odds of him coming and being successful. And that's going to be the great what if, I think, for as long as Michigan is successful. I'll throw in that, Ben McCullum was the guy that I was looking at and kind of wanted to be the IU coach. And DeVries certainly, absolutely has every opportunity to be successell at IU. I'm not saying that he isn't. You have Ben McCullum's record is just marginally better than what Darren DeVries' was, but there are some what ifs along the way, for sure. And that's really frustrating because I agree that, to me, the move to Dusty May would have been the big boy move, and I'm not placing that one at the feet of Scott Dolson either. I place that outside. And what happens time and time again is when people outside the athletic department put their fingers in things, that's when trouble starts. IU basketball is the graveyard for mid-major coaches, says Michael Colatz, maybe. Same guy says DeVries seems like a nice guy, but he also seems like he's not the man to lead IU basketball back to prominence. He completely lost this team. Yeah, but you know what? I won't go that far to say he's not the guy because it's a year. It's a year. We're not going to judge everybody on 1 year worth of things. This offseason is important. There's no question. And so to me, it's just too soon to walk away. And please don't take that attitude as well, because once you get to that point, it becomes real toxic for a program. And it becomes a thing where people don't want to end up being wrong, so they aren't happy when Indiana even wins. I don't want to get there yet. That time will get there, but it ain't here right now. Let's see. Pecan Pie says he got all the wins at Drake. He was mediocre at West Virginia. It was 1 year, one damn year. Good God. I appreciate all the comments, though. I really do. It's just it's incredible to me. Troika says, paraphrasing, but DeVries said before the Purdue game that he'd have players similar in size to some of IU's bigs in the next roster. Yeah, that is absolutely what he has said. And again, this season, you learn lessons. If you do the same thing again, now you can go ahead and get upset at him. But this is a little bit different thing. Jay Gritty says, thanks for the free therapy tonight. That is why I am here. I'm happy to play that role for everybody. Phil Taylor says, outclassed. Did you see Northwestern's defense? They made us uncomfortable the entire game. Nah, I won't go that far, considering Indiana shot 60% in the first half. So, there's that. It's not exactly like Northwestern was fantastic defensively in the first half. We dribble way too much and have to throw it up as the shot clock runs out, and that was something that changed as the season went on, to say the least. We have another caller. Caller, if I can have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hi, Ken. This is Kevin from Santa Clarita,
Hey, Kevin.
California.
It's therapy
didn't get a
time
chance
here.
to see your game tonight. Sorry about the outcome. But
Yeah, it's therapy tonight here at the Peegs Postgame. So
yeah, it sounded like some of our boards a few weeks ago.
this is how it used to be every football game, and this is how it is. So I'm used to this, but yeah, for basketball, it's been a was a frustrating night to say the least.
Well, just listening to your show and the callers and stuff, it's some of these are the issues that are it's a different world of college basketball from 5, 6, 7 years ago,
right.
Even in terms of the NIL, the transfer thing, and like, well, I see where you guys hired a GM. We just hired a GM too, because when you look at it, it's impossible for the head coach to where you have and you hired a new one last year, but where the season ends. And then you have like 2 weeks to put the next year's roster together.
Right.
And how can you know the player? Like looking at I just know because our team I know better is that these guys are this player has these skills, but he doesn't have these skills, which means he doesn't match up as well with this player. So the coach spends the whole year trying to match the players together, match the skills of his players together, to form an offense and a defense that he thinks he can work, and I can tell why some of those coaches are retiring because it's an impossible job, and
for sure.
And so now that you got the GM, you're hoping they're the ones who are going to have to be. Hopefully, they come to the coach the day after, like tomorrow, and go, okay, here's a list of the guys we need to go after, and I'm sure, hopefully, they've been. You think they've been meeting all year to figure out, or since he's been hired, to what we need to do for next year, and it's frustrating for us fans because I mean, in the olden days, you did look back. Okay, we got these kids coming back, and we know what they can do, or hopefully they can do, and you've studied them since they've been recruited.
Right.
Well, now you don't. Now you don't have that, so it makes more therapy needed because the fans need more therapy because they don't know the future is so uncertain.
Yeah, and and that also hurts too when the team starts struggling. Again, the fans don't have that connection to players that they previously did when they've seen them, come through high school and commit and then, play and get playing time off the bench and build. Nobody on this Indiana team had any kind of connection to the fans. It didn't really make any kind of connection. So that changed the relationship with them as well.
Mm-hmm. And then once you get injuries during the season, it changes how the team is for a few games. And then it's another readjustment when the guy comes back. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How is the state of Indiana high school basketball these days?
I'm going to go ahead and admit something to you that I don't pay a lot of attention to Indiana high school basketball. My thing at Peegs has always been they are my problem once they are in uniform. But we have Jeff Rabjohns and Jared Kelly and Trevor Andershock that absolutely cover the hell out of Indiana high school basketball. But I focus on so I won't try to pretend that I know a ton about the state of Indiana high school basketball because I don't pay attention to it.
Oh, okay. I'm the same boat. I don't know that much about California high school basketball.
Yeah.
I don't like some of the trends I see in high school basketball, but I just was curious because obviously those are the guys you would think you might get a discount on in the open market,
right?
And that's why I was wondering about the state of Indiana basketball because obviously you're trying to hopefully get some guys on a discount so that you can spend a little more money on the guys you really need, and then you can put together a nice solid roster.
Absolutely.
Well, good luck if you play in the NIT or that crown thing, and maybe I'll hopefully watch the game when you play and catch the post-game show.
All right. Well, like I've said, that if they play in the NIT or the Crown, I'm not doing a post game show for it. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not doing it. You know what? We can watch that, and if they win a game or two, then maybe we'll go ahead and we'll put it together. Otherwise, I'm going to take a week off to be sure to see how everything plays out. But if they win a game or two, we'll come back. But I'm going to be doing this all summer as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you'll be having summer stuff?
Absolutely, because
that's
when
okay.
you want to talk about portal, we want to talk about football portal, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing this summer.
Okay, great. And I also friended you on Facebook, so maybe I'll catch you on that.
Sounds great. I appreciate it.
All right, take care, Ken.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Great call. Always happy to hear from him. Again, people that don't know haven't heard. Kevin is a UCLA fan who was in Bloomington for the IU UCLA football game. Stopped by the show in the parking lot and has now called several times since then. And you guys made him an IU fan because you were so good to him in the stands. So it's always great to hear from him. We have post-game press conference audio that I could pull around. It's 11 minutes, and I'm not going to make you people sit through 11 minutes of press conference, but I do want to bring you at least a couple of questions. So we'll play maybe 4 or 5 minutes of this just to hear what Tucker DeVries and Lamar Wilkerson had to say following Indiana's win. So we will see what they have to say.
Tom Brew, Roundtable Sports. Tucker, Coach Collins was just saying a minute ago that their focus defensively on you was to just try to make you a two-point shooter and kind of take away your comfortable spots. A, did you feel that out there? And B, how frustrating was it, especially in the second half, that you guys just couldn't really get anything going offensively?
I mean, obviously, I think they did a great job, executing their game plan as a whole. I thought in the first half we were, able to get in the paint, make plays, for one another. I felt like we had a lot of assists on a lot of our buckets, and then second half it just felt like we were a little more stagnant. We weren't able to get into the paint as much and get as many easy looks as we did in the first half. But that's a lot of credit to them as well as on us as trying to execute.
All right, question up front.
Josh Poe's inside the hall. Tucker, I guess just how frustrating is it to end the season like this? 7 of 8 losses.
I mean, it's about what you'd expect. Especially with the amount of seniors we had, we all came here, wanting to lay the groundwork for this program and the culture, and really, set the tone. But, just down the stretch of the season, just weren't able to, capitalize on some of the opportunities we had. And it really sucks that, none of us are really going to get to put this uniform on again, for a regular season or, this tournament. And it is what it is, but it's really frustrating.
Okay. On the left.
Yeah, Lamar, just Jeff Rapjohn, Peegs.com. Lamar, your thoughts on kind of what went wrong in the last 6, 7, 8 games when the losing streak kind of happened? Just give us the players' view of what happened there.
I just felt like we just got stagnant, we just weren't playing our best basketball. And then the other team that we was playing, they executed well. They did what they had to do, and we made a lot of self-inflictions that cost us the games there through that last stretch. So, yeah, we just weren't hooked up like we were supposed to be.
Okay, also on the left.
Alec, thehoosier.com. Tucker, for you, I guess defensively over the last 6, 7 games here, you guys have given up on average close to 1.3 points per possession. Tonight, very similar in the second half. I guess what were some of the key defensive breakdowns over the last month, specifically for you guys to obviously see that downfall?
We've had a lot of conversations over the last, especially the last couple of days about, trying to really get back to the groundwork of our defense and getting back to the habits that we're supposed to be able to execute. And I thought towards the end of the year that kind of slipped on our end. Just the attention to detail and some things. And at this level, if you're off by the slightest margin, that they're going to make you pay, especially the teams that we're playing in this league. They're really talented teams that put you in a lot of difficult spots, and if you're not connected 1 through 5 on defense, they're going to pick that apart pretty easily.
Any further questions for the student athletes? All right, one more question in the back.
Yeah, for either of you guys, obviously you were down 45-44 early in the second half, and then I think over the next 10 minutes or so it was just 2 field goals. Was there anything in that stretch that you thought wasn't being done offensively? What was the difference there that you weren't able to score consistently?
I think there's a lot of different things that go into it. I thought, like I said earlier, we weren't getting in the paint as much and getting cleaner looks. A part of it's it's a lot easier to score when you're getting stops. We sent them to the free throw line. They felt like they were in the bonus at 10-12 minute mark, and we got to do a better job of keeping them off that free throw line, stalling out the game. When they have their defense set, they're really good defensively, and we weren't able to get them in transition very much in the second half, and I thought that really kind of stalled us out and took away some of our execution.
All right, guys, you can head back to the locker room. Thank you. Let's take questions for the coach. We got start up here up front on the left.
Yeah, Darren, obviously this season's concluded. A lot of people are focusing on the transfer portal already. Just in general, what are skill sets you want to add to this roster moving forward that you think are going to be really impactful for next year?
As we've talked about it a little bit as the season's gone on, just developing more depth and having more size and physicality, for this league is going to be critical. I thought, that was something that we just didn't have a lot of depth there to sustain it over the course of a 20-game league schedule. So that's certainly something we have to prioritize to give ourselves just a better chance on the interior, the rebounding and being able to post and be able to get guys in and out and sub and have some depth there. So that it's something that we'll have to really search hard for.
Up front.
Josh Pose, Inside the Hall. Coach, was there a specific time in that second half where you just kind of saw a different thing from your team? It looked like they had a sense of urgency at the beginning, and then it kind of petered out late.
Yeah, it was interesting to start the second half. Just there was a stretch in there about 3-4 minutes in. It felt like Northwestern's defense had really cranked her up a little bit, gotten physical. Started slowing our movement, and then we weren't able to get by people to go get to the ball to go make a play. So you ended up with a lot of just a little windshield wiper offense. Again, and it's been something that's kind of hurt us a little bit, especially these last 7-8 games in the second halves. Just not getting able to find a secondary way to score has been a problem for us in a lot of these games.
Okay, up front.
Yes, Darren, I recognize you guys are on the bubble. If Sunday comes and you're not in the field, I know this is maybe a hard question to answer today, but what do you feel like got established for this program this season in terms of, you talk about principles and things that will outlive just this roster. What do you feel like kind of you at least kind of sunk roots into this program this season if this is your last game?
Right. I told the guys, it's a great group to coach. I think their practice habits were really good all year. They've represented themselves, our program, in the first-class manner, and all these guys came, outside of Tucker, really with not much to go off of, Connor a little bit. When you're putting that many new guys together and their ability to maintain a really good locker room throughout the season, I thought was pretty impressive by them and what they did, the way they carried themselves, even during tough times. Like I told them, there's
there's no going back, and every season you're going to have, whatever amount of games that you'd like to have back. And, certainly we felt like there was a little more in there for us that, we would have liked to have gotten done. But these guys continue to stick together even during a couple of these losing streaks and stuff, and continue to, maintain positive and work and do things the right way. So that's, certainly appreciative of that group, and especially that group of seniors.
Second.
All right, let's go ahead and cut it off there. It's Darren DeVries from the Big Ten tournament. Interesting. He talks about, adding depth and size and things like that, which is really obviously critical of what this team needs. And so looking forward to that being something that we actually see happen. Jay Gritty says, did Tucker cry again? A lot of sniffing. Yeah, I think he's emotional. Yeah, I think so. I think that's part of the equation. He knows that his college career is coming to an end, and certainly not the way that he wanted it to. So that's understandable. Let's go ahead and break down real quickly here. Let you guys get on with your off season individual stats, because that's something we haven't talked about yet at all. Indiana, led by Lamar Wilkerson, 17 points on 7 of 16 shooting, but just 1 of 6 from 3-point range. He added 4 rebounds and a couple assists in 34 minutes. He was the only Hoosier starter to score in double figures. That's how you end up losing to Northwestern. Tucker DeVries, 6 points on 2 of 9 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3-point range. He added 8 rebounds and 6 assists versus 2 turnovers, had a block and a steal. Tucker, didn't shoot well, but he did a lot of other nice things on the floor. That's a good thing, positive for him if that's his last obviously they can go to the NIT or the other, but I'm just so discounting that. Reed Bailey, 6 points. He gets the start, plays 27 minutes, and started along with Sam Alexis, which is something we haven't seen this year. So that is something that I think is interesting. Again, odd time to go ahead and make that move. I know you want to maybe deal with matchups and what you feel worked well with Northwestern, but it was a change of pace. That was really the only big shakeup that we've seen in the starting lineup outside of Tayton Connerway and Nick Dorn swapping spots. But the problem is, of course, Bailey plays 27 minutes, gets 1 rebound. Sam Alexis, 6 points on 3 of 6 shooting. He gets 1 rebound, plays 23 minutes. So between those guys, those 2 guys, Indiana's bigs, they combine for 50 minutes worth of time on the court and get 2 rebounds. That's not good. Connor Enright, 3 points on 1 of 2 shooting, had 1 assist, 3 turnovers in 26 minutes. Tayton Connerway, 14 points off the bench, 5 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 1 from 3-point range, 5 rebounds, a couple of turnovers, played 20 minutes, was -1. Josiah Miles played 9 minutes, got 3 points, had 5 rebounds in those 9 minutes. So think about that. Josiah Miles plays 9 minutes, gets 5 rebounds. Bailey and Alexis play 50 minutes and get 2. Nick Dorn, he plays 20 minutes, 6 points on 2 of 3 shooting. Got shuffled out of the starting lineup. The replacement didn't make a difference. Indiana, 44.4% on the day, 20 of 45, 6 of 17 from 3-point range. They had 10 made assists on 20, 10 assists on 20 made baskets. Indiana won on the glass, 29-27. But meanwhile, Northwestern, 48.1% from the field, 42% from 3-point range, shot 76% from the free throw line, and put up 38 points in the second half. Won by 13 despite not scoring a field goal in the last 6 minutes and 10 seconds of the game. So just, not a good outing. And now it's just questions. And again, as far as I'm concerned, that offseason is the only thing that's important right now. From a program long-term standpoint, the impact of going to the NIT or the Crown is negligible. It's not going to make a big impact. So why? What do you get out of it? It's fine for the players, but will the players want to play? It's about the off season now. It's about the summer. And so we'll see how that all plays out, because it's a huge off season. Every season is huge. Every off season is huge. But the disappointment and the structural problems, this is going to be illustrative of exactly how Darren DeVries is going to run his program. And so it's going to be a real interesting offseason with a ton of questions. A lot has to be fixed because what we saw this year simply has not been good enough. Now, I mentioned this a couple of times with the callers that I will not be doing a post-game call-in show if Indiana is playing in a tournament next week. Taking a week off. But all summer we'll be doing hopefully at least once a week to talk about the portal and football and everything else that goes along with it, plus some extra fun special stuff that I have planned. Looking forward to that. But for tonight, 74-61 losers. Indiana falls in the Big Ten tournament. Their streak of never winning the Big Ten tournament continues. And in terms of the NCAA tournament, forget about all of that. And that's okay because this ain't a tournament team. Frustrating night, frustrating year. A lot to be fixed going forward. Well, that's all the time we have on the Peegs Postgame Live. I want to thank you for listening. I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Weaver, Trevor Andershock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving and exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time. But for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Trevor, and Jared, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody, and thanks for all your phone calls all during the year.